There is. Hello, world. I'm talking to myself right now. We'll see who gonna hop in this joint. Anybody happy there? But I have no problem with talking to myself. So if nobody hops in, it is what it is. I don't know what the heck is going on over here. Okay. Pardon my smoking. This is what I do. Give me a second. I'm gonna talk about this story I seen today. Truck vi- truck driver, truck driver, truck driver gets 110 years in prison for an accident, and I emphasize accident. Excuse me, where the brakes failed on his tractor trailer, and he ran into multiple cars, causing the deaths of 4 people. I mean, it was a very bad accident, but I emphasize an accident where the brakes failed on his vehicle, but yet he received 110 years in prison, right? Because of the law that was in place. Because of the law. Y'all hearing all that, ain't y'all? My bad. But it was all because of the law that's in place in Colorado. Colorado, Lakewood, Colorado. I had something that I wanted to. Give me 1 second. Let's get into this because I got notes. I have notes. I come prepared. I have notes. Now, when I came across this story, it kind of bothered me once I actually start getting information on the actual story or whatever. It kind of bothered me because I actually had family members that actually drive tractor trailers. And like I said before, this is an instance where the brakes fell on this tractor trailer. It's not like he was under the influence of any narcotics or he had been drinking or anything. Simply, the brakes failed on his vehicle, causing this actual accident. But the way the law is set up in Colorado, it was a minimum sentence that the judge had to give him. Now, in a lot of states, when you have vehicular homicide, it might carry anywhere between 3, 5 years, something like that. It's not like you're taking a firearm and killing someone. This is something that happens in the midst of an accident. But so I think he was found guilty of like 27 counts, 27 different counts, and the sentences he was given added up to that actual 110 years. So I mean, I'm not sure what that state sentence is for vehicular homicide, but had his well, what the whole thing is that state is not allowed to run sentences concurrent. Concurrent means, say if you get, say if they gave him 10 years, just say 10 years for each of the deaths, and that's 40 years. A lot of states would say 10 years for this person, 10 years for that person, 10 years for that person, 10 years for that person. But we're going to run all of the sentences concurrent, which means it's 40 years, but it's actual 10 years. You have 4 10-year sentences, but they're going to be ran together. So you're only going to be actually doing 10 years. In Colorado, they're not allowed to do that. So they have to run the sentences consecutive. That means if you say you had 4 10-year sentences, you would have to complete one 10-year sentence, then start the next 10-year sentence, then the next 10-year sentence, then the next 10-year sentence. So he got found guilty of 27 counts. So all of those years from each count added up to 110 years. And this case has a lot of people up in arms. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go into it because when I see stuff like this, I like to, speaking on something that where there's loss of life or whatever. I like to actually acknowledge those actual people. You understand? And the person's name who the truck driver, his name is I'm not know if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it seems like his name is, I guess he's Hispanic descent. So I would guess it would be pronounced Rogel Aguilera-Mederos, 26 years of age. And he was 23 when this accident happened. Okay. Now, like I said before, he's a truck driver and he was driving his truck, his brakes failed, accident occurred. You know what I mean? And it was a very bad accident, fire involved or whatever. 4 fatalities, a whole bunch of people injured, right? But emphasis on accident. Okay. Now the people who were actually killed in this accident were Miguel Angel Lamas Arellano, age 24, William Bailey, age 67, Dole Harrison, age 61, and Stanley Politano, age 69. Okay. And the thing that actually, the thing that actually was the probably the main factor of them finding him guilty of all this stuff is the fact that when they say when you're driving tractor trailers along the highway, they have what are called what do they call these? They call them runaway ramps. Whereas though if you happen to lose your brakes or whatever, I guess it's like an off ramp of sorts or whatever. You can drive up on it, and eventually it'll slow down the tractor trailer or whatever. And they say that he actually rode past several of these runaway ramps before the accident. But I was just thinking to myself, I drive a car, a regular car. And if I'm driving and my brakes go out and you're on the highway, so you're not doing 25, 35 miles an hour, okay? The first thing, more than likely, regardless of all the training that you may have had or whatever, the average person, panic is going to set in. Drewski, what up, brother? The panic is going to set in, and you might lose all that. You know what I mean? All that stuff that you were taught probably is going to go out the window. You know what I mean? And that's what probably happened in this case. And he's probably trying to stop the vehicle until the accident happened. It's not like he targeted vehicles while I guess he was doing what he was doing, trying to stop the vehicle. He ran into the traffic was backed up at some point, and he ended up slamming into several cars and causing a fiery accident, and there was loss of life. But the whole thing is, this guy wasn't under the influence of any drugs, wasn't under the influence of any alcohol, anything like that. Only thing that I see that he was guilty of was operating a faulty vehicle when he was working, and he was actually working for someone else. He didn't own this tractor trailer. He was working for some company out of Houston. You know what I'm saying? So they're actually responsible for maintaining their work vehicles. Only thing he was guilty of was operating a faulty vehicle. But yet this guy has 110 years. But like I said, it's a lot of people up in arms in regards to his sentence. And there's a lot of truck drivers have band together and started this whole thing where as though they're refusing to drive through Colorado. You know what I mean? Because they got over, I think it's like over 3 million signatures on this petition to try to get his sentence commuted by Governor Jared Polis of Colorado. You understand what I'm saying? So, of course, they're going to drag their feet because when you're talking politics, he got to weigh his options. Well, who agrees with it? Who doesn't agree with it? How much of the public agrees with it? How much of the public doesn't agree with it? Before this is what they make their determination on, because they're thinking election. They're thinking their next election. Right. You absolutely right. You absolutely right, Drew. Like I was just saying, in pretty much any other state, a vehicular homicide might carry somewhere like I would say 3 to 7 years, 3 to 7 years for a vehicular homicide in most states, and this is what he would have received more than likely. But Colorado has some twisted law, whereas though whatever sentence you get, I mean, they have to be served consecutive instead of concurrent. You know what I mean? You can't do all of your sentences together. They got to be one at a time, and that's why he has 110 years. You know what I mean? Which is straight up ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like I said, these truck drivers are vowing not to drive through Colorado. Now, if they stand strong, and we're not going to drive through Colorado, so that would mean Colorado wouldn't receive a lot of the goods they're supposed to get or whatever. I don't know how that would pan out, but I stand with them because, like I say, I got friends, I got family who actually drive or whatever, and if something freakish like their brakes was to give out and Lord forbid somebody got hurt or whatever, I don't feel like it's a difference between somebody doing something malicious and something happening or whatever, and it's an accident. The accident is what it is. An accident is an accident. You know what I mean? The man ain't had no previous criminal history. He was a Cuban immigrant, came here as most of them do, looking for a better life or whatever, trying to take care of their family or whatever, and get caught up in a freakish accident. Well, I ain't get that. You say he turned down a 10-year plea deal. Yeah. Yeah, I ain't get that part. I wonder whether or not, and see that's probably I'm more than certain I haven't looked it up or not, but I'm more than certain if they offered him 10 years, that's probably what vehicular homicide carry in that state. So that's probably why the judge maxed him out like he did. But that guy, but his ignorance, and it all depends on what his count, what his attorney told him or whatever. He probably had court appointed attorney. You know what I mean? That told him, oh, it was an accident. It's a lot of things. A lot of things are supposed to be factored in. But yeah, I didn't get to that part. I didn't get to the part about he turned down a plea. When people come here from other places or whatever, they don't be totally familiar with the laws and all that stuff of this country or whatever, and how our our quote unquote criminal system works. You know what I mean? Even if you can't just say, a lot of times you just can't say, well, I'm not guilty, so I can't say I'm guilty. I can't plead guilty if I'm not guilty. You know what I mean? They don't know is this is the you guilty you guilty if we say you guilty country. Even if you ain't guilty, we need people. We need to keep our institutions filled up so we can keep making those jeans and license plates and blinds and whatever goods you can think about, where so we can pay you $1 an hour as opposed to having to give you minimum wage. You know, we're gonna put you on the chain gang. You gotta go on the chain gang. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Drew. That's what I'm saying. You know, they always throw the deal out there, and he probably not knowing no better. He's pretty much, like I said, this happened when he was 23. They say this happened when he was 23 years old. So he's 23 years old. I think back when I was 23 and was crazy. You know, I'm just thinking, yeah, when I was 23 years old, well, I ain't gonna say I ended up in a situation, I'm not gonna say I ended up in a situation like him, a familiar situation. But let's just say I ended up in a situation when I was 23 years old, and I thought I knew what the worst outcome could be until I was told after the fact. You know what I mean? But luckily for me, you know what I mean. I had a I had a decent attorney who actually fought for me, and I made out. But like I say, he probably had a court-appointed attorney, and who knows the way they play. Look, I'm gonna give you this one. I give you this one, and you give me some rhythm on this case I got over here. So who knows how that played out? But it's that's ridiculous. Like I say, I'm finding out a lot of places that I do not want to go. It's a lot of places that I don't want to go in this country. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to I don't want to go to Colorado. I do not want to go to Colorado. And what's crazy, I got a family member that just moved to Colorado over the summer. But it's not like he's a good dude. It ain't like he's the type of person that be getting in trouble or whatever, but just to be somewhere where you know they got crazy laws or whatever. I don't know. That's just it don't sit right. That this whole thing don't sit right with me. I don't understand it. I don't. It's just crazy. I mean, they was taxing them, and the goddamn. I mean, they was taxing them the whole thing. From what I was reading, they was taxing them because he didn't he didn't use the runaway ramps. I guess they said he rode past several of these runaway ramps and didn't use them. But I'm like, man, I don't know, man. Like I say, everybody don't ain't the same. People driving or whatever, panic set in. Panic set in. Ain't no telling what you might. It ain't telling what you might do. People lose their, you know what I mean, everything. You could have been taught 20 different things or whatever. That panic set in or whatever, and you got all this weight behind you, and you know what I mean, all that stuff that they taught him probably went right out the window. You know what I mean? And he probably looking for a place. He trying to look for something to slow, some kind of way to slow the daggone truck down or whatever without losing the load. He probably thinking about losing the load. You know what I mean? Thinking that he'd be able to slow it down or whatever. And had the traffic not been backed up where it was or whatever, maybe he would have been able to eventually stop the truck or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know, but the whole thing's just crazy because I just can't see 110 years for something that's a mistake. Even when you got, I was looking to say some of the people that were injured, a lot of the people that were injured, and even at least one of the victims, one of the people who passed away, family members, had a problem with him receiving that much time. See, in this, and see, yeah, you say he was on the phone being advised by his boss on what to do. And see, and that's the whole thing. He probably wasn't taught this stuff, man. He probably wasn't even taught this. He probably wasn't even aware of those ramps beforehand. He probably wasn't even taught this stuff. Like you said, I mean, he was an immigrant. He was an immigrant coming to the country or whatever. He probably wasn't aware of them ramps, man. If somebody got you driving in a faulty vehicle, a vehicle with bad brakes on it, he probably wasn't even. They probably just taught you how to drive that joint, taught you how to drive that joint, and pay attention to the navigation, and that's it. That's it. And I say, if anything, they should have went after. I feel as though they should have went after the freaking the company. They say the company eventually went out of business or something. But I think if you gonna roll that man like that, you know what I mean? If you gonna roll that man like that, you got to go after the whole mother. You got to go after the whole group of people involved. Right. I mean, right. If you going downhill, now I mean that load is gonna push you. You know what I mean? That load is gonna push you. That load gonna push you. And I mean, I'm quite sure he wasn't doing 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure he wasn't busting 100. You know what I mean? So who actually drives the speed limit? Who actually drives the speed limit on the highway? You know what I mean? Then you going on a, you know what I mean? You going downhill. You know what I mean? Like I say, that load is gonna push you. You know what I mean? So that ain't nothing that not just somebody driving a truck, but somebody that's driving a car, a regular vehicle. You know what I mean? You could be doing the speed limit and not even have your foot on the gas and the vehicle pick up speed going downhill. But like you said, the judge even said it himself that he didn't want to give him, he felt bad giving them that sentence. You know what I mean? The judge even said he felt bad giving them the sentence, but he said his hands was tied. You know what I mean? That he was forced to give him that. You know what I mean? But like I say, everybody going to the judge, and if they keep, not the judge, but the governor, everybody's trying to get all these signatures on the petition to take to the governor's office. But now the governor's office saying, oh, we're aware of it. We're aware of the situation or whatever. We're reviewing the situation. Yeah, they're reviewing. You're reviewing your you're reviewing your constituency. You know what I mean? You worrying about the voters. You know what I mean? Which one of your voters? How many of your voters or the people that's rocking with you agree with giving him clemency, and how many of them think that he should keep that 110 years? You weighing, that's what you weighing out. You know what I mean? Those are the only options that the governor is weighing out right now, and which is crazy. Which is crazy. They had this joint up against somebody else. Had a female. Oh, she this woman here was found guilty of vehicular homicide and received 4 years, and he gets 110. And was then you, I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, you done had people that actually be involved in vehicular homicide cases and end up doing no time. And end up doing no time. I don't know, man. It just kind of, the story kind of threw me for a loop. Cause I was like, wait a minute. I was expecting the head MC, I mean, to read that he was under the influence or something, or, you know what I mean? He was drinking or whatever, and such happened. But it wasn't none of that. Yeah, I hope so. The way they say they got all these signatures, They say they got over 3 million signatures. I know most of them, even if all of the truck drivers not rocking with them, they say most of them truck drivers are rocking with them. You know what I mean? I say that's all they got to do. If them truck drivers stick to their guns, if the truck drivers stick to their guns and they don't actually deliver nothing in Colorado, they could do that for 2 weeks. If don't nobody deliver nothing to Colorado for 2 weeks, yeah, the governor is going to commute his sentence. He going to definitely do that. Let no trucks come to Colorado for 2 weeks. Yeah, this happened Friday. I think he got sentenced last Friday or last Thursday. One or the other. You talking about a whole week. Damn, if he could have got sentenced 3 weeks ago, and they would have stopped all the deliveries for the whole holiday. Oh, he'd have got his rhythm early. Yeah, the governor would have been forced to give him some rhythm early. But who knows? Like I said, I know they said that. I know they say more. I mean, they said a few of the families, you know what I mean, was upset at the time they gave him. They said it was only one of the one of the one of the people that passed away who actually say she was satisfied with him getting 110 years. But I say she was just speaking out of emotion. You know what I mean? She was speaking out of emotions because she. I mean, I can understand. I can understand her speaking out of emotion, but at the same time, you know good and well to get somebody 110 years for an accident is ain't cool. And she was saying, "Oh, if he had he the reason for my husband not being here, this, that, and the third." I mean, to a degree, but if you're going to say that you're satisfied with the time that they gave him, she should be pressing the issue of them going after the owners of the company as well and prosecuting them. So if she's not doing that, I mean, and not trying to say that she don't have the right to feel the way she feel, but if she's not pressing the issue of them going after the people that actually owned the company and was actually responsible for maintaining that vehicle, she shouldn't feel you know what I mean? She shouldn't feel like that. Not to that degree. Not to that degree. If you did set on it like that, you know what I mean? You're supposed to get all parties involved. Not to just say, oh, I don't know, but like I say, she entitled to her feelings. She entitled to her feelings because that was her people's. But more than likely, down the road, she'll feel different. You know what I mean? After it all set in. But who knows? Maybe she won't. I know I won't be going to Colorado. I'm not driving through no Colorado. I mean, I tell my nephew, I did say I was gonna go. I did say I was gonna go down there and come see him. Yeah, I'm not going down there now. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. They say the settlements went out to the families or whatever already. So I'm quite sure, or who knows, man? If they was rocking like that, if that company was rocking like that, they might have shut down before they, you know what I mean? They might have shut down before they even kicked out any money. They could have filed for some type of bankruptcy or something. You know what I mean? And hid what they had. Because it seemed like they was just already shady. You know what I mean? Sound like they was extra shady. You know what I mean? Then they said they had mad violations. I heard they had mad violations. I mean, he said that they had a whole bunch of violations for other vehicles they had. So they was just like getting trucks or whatever. Oh, just check the tire pressure and get them out of here. Check the tire pressure. And they probably ain't even had no tire gauges. Just kick it. Just kick the tire. Just kick the tire. Get out of here. Brother Johnny. What's happening, Brother Johnny? You hear about that one? Yeah, it's going. They're going to have to change the laws, man, because that's just crazy. That's just crazy to have somebody. You know what I mean? Because that right there just deter anybody from even. You know what I mean? Even if they wanted to come here and 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 try to do something or whatever, they're there to deter him. And he went there to try to get a better life, and he ended up with 110 years in jail. You can't go there. You can't go there. Yeah, Johnny, this truck driver was driving and his brakes failed, and he ended up being in an accident, killing 4 people. He killed 4 people, died in his accident, and a bunch of other people got injured. And the judge gave him 110 years. But he only got the 110 years because simply because they not allowed to run sentences concurrent. You know what I mean? They had to run them consecutive, one at a time. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I said, that could happen. That could happen to anybody. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Nah, it belonged to the company. It belonged to the company. The truck belonged to the company. It belonged to the company. You know what I mean? And they didn't, and that's one of the problems I'm having. You know what I mean? How you just charge this man, but it's not his truck. You know what I mean? It's not his truck. He's not responsible for the maintenance of the truck, even though I mean, even though if you're driving a vehicle, you going to likely check certain stuff. But far as maintenance, you're right. The company is responsible. The company is responsible for the maintenance on their vehicles. So that's what I feel like. If they was gonna drag him into court for his, you know what I mean, part in the whole thing, they were supposed to charge the owners of the company as well. you on point, Johnny. You on point. Exactly. If a plane fall out the sky because of maintenance issues, you never had you never had a pilot be charged. No, see what they were saying, that they have these they have these things called runaway ramps, right? For tractor trailers, say if they supposed to lose their brakes or whatever. I guess it's some kind of, you go up on, it's like an off ramp, but it goes up where it's to an incline or whatever, that they eventually slow the tractor trailer down. They said he rode past several of these before the accident occurred. But like Drewski said, that he was on the phone. The guy was supposed to be on the phone talking to his boss. His boss was instructing him what to do, and by the time he told him that, he had already passed them. You know what I mean? And he didn't get to another one before the accident occurred. And that's like I say, they probably was a shoddy company. It was a shisty company, and that dude came from another country or whatever. Only thing on his mind was, you know what I mean, taking care of his family or whatever, whatever. And he just was following directions. They probably taught him how to operate the vehicle. You know what I mean? They probably didn't do nothing but show him how to drive the truck, and gave him a navigation. You know what I mean? Look, this how you drive it. There's your navigation. See you later. You know what I mean? Because if they had properly told him about those runaway ramps or whatever, he wouldn't have had to call his boss or whatever to get instructions. He would have already knew. You know what I mean? So evidently, I don't know, man. I feel like if they was going to do them like that, they were supposed to go after the company. By all means, they were supposed to go after the company as well, man. Somebody was supposed to be sitting beside him, man. He was supposed to have a co-defendant. You know what I mean? He was supposed to have a co-defendant. You know what I mean? He wasn't supposed to be in there by himself. Like I said, that made me think, man. That'll make the average person think. The average person that want to get into maybe driving trucks or whatever for a living. That'll make you think. Like, man, tell me, my joint can malfunction and you can mash me out. That'd be just like anything could happen. You know what I mean? Any freakish thing can happen, and they max you out. You know what I mean? You trip on the curb. You trip on the curb and fall on somebody. You know what I mean? And they have a seizure or something. Absolutely, it's absolutely the company responsibility, man. It's nobody else. I mean, like I say, that when you drive a truck or whatever, you're not taking the wheels off and everything. You know what I mean? You're not taking the wheels and all that off, checking no pads and brakes and all that stuff. You driving the joint. Only thing you might do is make sure your tire pressure good, and maybe check your fluids and stuff like that. But you're not checking no brakes and, you know what I mean, all that stuff. That's not your, you know what I mean. I mean, if you were capable of doing it, and just wanted to do it, then fine. But that's not your actual responsibility, man. When they putting you in a vehicle and you're working for somebody else and they putting you in a vehicle, they're supposed to make sure that that vehicle is safe, man. Yeah, that's all to it. That's all to it. But they got away with one. Whoever, I think I saw the name. I know that the company that he was working for was out of Houston. There was a company out of Houston, Texas, and I don't know. I really wasn't even want to say the name of the daggone company, but the company they out of business, so it really don't matter. Only thing I know is that they was based in Houston, Texas. They probably took whatever money they had left and got up out of Dodge. You know what I mean? Left that man hanging like that, man. Now he still got family. He still got family wherever they from or whatever. You know what I mean? Now he's sitting in jail. Can't even provide, you know what I mean? Because of something that actually wasn't his fault, man. They gonna have to do something because they setting a standard, man. You got people that's actually now because I'm vested in it. I just came across the story today. Now I'm vested in it. I'm gonna definitely be checking to see what actually happened. You know what I mean? Because that mean that you know what I mean, if anything happened in Colorado, just to know that you can't get your charges ran concurrent. Even if you do something and get found guilty of it on a humble, that you can't get your charges concurrent. That they got you got to finish this time first, then start the second charge, the time for the second charge. You know what I mean? And then you got then you got and that's a state where you can legally smoke. You can legally go out there and smoke all your marijuana you want to and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Which they made it a tourist. They made it a tourist state. You know what I mean? Made tourism heavy out there. You know what I mean? So I wonder how many people then went out there and then got locked up just on minor stuff and end up with two, three, four charges and get found guilty. Now, oh, we giving you a year for this charge. We're going to give you 3 years for that charge. We're going to give you 6 months for that charge, and we're going to give you 2 years for that charge. You you ain't do nothing but go smoke some weed, you know what I mean, and got into a bar fight. You smoke some weed, got into a bar fight. Now you get ready to be stuck in Colorado prison system for almost the next 10 years. Colorado, I'm gonna look up there what you come. Now that just make me want to look into their prison system. It really makes me want to look into their prison system to see what they got going on in their prison system and see how many different places that they actually, you know what I mean, how many places actually source their provide services for, how many places they provide services for, you know what I mean, outsource people that outsource their work to the prison system as opposed to actually hiring people from the general public. I guarantee you it's high. I guarantee you it's high because something like that, just to even have that law in place, just to have that law in place that oh you can't, we don't have it set up where as though you can do any of your time. If you found guilty of more than one charge, you can't have the time do the time for more than one charge at a time. You got that just sounds stupid. That just sounds real stupid. So that means that a person could go there, can actually go there and kill somebody, literally kill somebody, and probably end up with less time than they gave that man. Now that's disturbing. That's disturbing. That's disturbing, to say the least. That somebody could actually go there and actually kill somebody, actually shoot somebody and kill them, and not end up with 110 years. But if your brakes fail, yeah, we're gonna max you out. You'll never see the streets again. Yeah, I understand that, Drewski. I understand that. I understand why they did what they did. But like I say, I don't know how his how his attorney played it, but his attorney Mike didn't even, you know what I mean? I wonder if his attorney explained it to him that if found guilty or whatever, that, you know what I mean, that he would have to, that the time was going to run wild. You know what I mean? That they couldn't run nothing concurrent. Cause I don't see, you know what I mean? I don't see him having knowledge of the fact that, you know what I mean, I can get, you know what I mean, I could actually get up to, because he could have actually gotten more. He could have actually gotten more time than that. Because I think he had something like almost 40 charges. It was actually almost 40 charges. No, no. I don't think 10 years is too much. I don't think 10 is too much. I don't think 10 is too much. I don't think that 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 he should have necessarily went free. That he should necessarily went free because, I mean, you got to do something. You know what I mean? He got to do something simply because it was a loss of life. You know what I mean? I think 10 years would have been fair. I think 10 years would have been fair. But like I say, I'm willing to bet that his attorney didn't explain it to him, you know what I mean, the way he probably actually would have understood it. You know what I mean? Because like I say, you got, you know what I mean, when you got court appointed attorneys and stuff, they all work for the state. So they're not working in your best interest. You know what I mean? Excuse. They'll act like they'll act like they got your best interest in mind, but they're working for the state. They are just what they are, a state appointed attorney. So you're being, when you look at your court summons, it says John Doe versus the state. So that means the person that's supposed to be representing me is the person I'm in here versus. You know what I mean? So how can you help me if, you know what I mean, you're going against me at the same time? You know what I mean? Which is crazy. I think they set that man up, man. I think he got set up, man. I think if he had known, I think if he had known the specifics, man, the real specifics, I think he would have took that 10 years, man. I think he would have took that 10 years. Wouldn't surprise me none if his attorney told him, look, man, I think our chances are good. I don't actually see them finding you guilty. It was an accident. It was an accident. It's clear that your brakes failed. It's clear that your brakes failed. It's not your fault. But yet, the people that own the company are not sitting in the courtroom with you as your co-defendants. You know what I mean? It's you in here by yourself. You know what I mean? Like I say, I already know how them state's attorneys, I mean not state's attorney, but the public pretenders. I'm not even gonna call them a public defender, but a public pretender. The ones that pretend to have your best interests in mind. Oh, we're gonna defend you tooth and nail. And they come in there, you know what I mean? Excuse me. They come in there, and that's what they got. A tooth in one pocket and a nail in the other one. And nothing in between. You know what I mean? And nothing up here. Nothing up here. Nothing up there. I asked them about something that in regards to your case. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta find that man petition, man, so I can put my signature on it. I'm gonna sign it once I look it up. I saw the thing forward. I meant to write it down. So I could have went on there and signed it. So that'd have been just like if you say if you was hauling gasoline or something, and somebody decide to do something stupid and shoot your joint with a rocket. You know what I mean? Somebody hit you with a rocket or something. You know what I mean? Or shoot your tanker. You know what I mean? Blow your tanker up, and the people around your tanker get blown up in the process. They gonna lock you up. They gonna lock you up because you were driving it. It's not actually your fault, but you were there. You were there. You were supposed to see that bullet coming or that projectile coming and got out of the way. When if you couldn't get out of the way, you were supposed to make sure that everybody around you got from around you. You're responsible. I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling that at all. I meant to hit you, Johnny. You still in there. I meant to hit you. Because I saw something on the internet or something about some kids blowing away in one of those bouncy houses or whatever in Australia somewhere. And said like five or six kids was killed playing on one of those bouncy houses, and the wind came and picked the whole joint up like 30 feet, and the kids fell out the joint, and like 5 or 6 of them passed away. Let's see, damn, I gotta hit Brody up. Ask him if he know anything about that. Yeah, man, I'm putting something together. I was talking with my peoples over the weekend and trying to put some panel stuff together. Talking to my peoples, and he's supposed to talk to some of his peoples and put some panels together or whatever, and talk about some different stuff on here. You know, how people that actually live different lives from the lives they live now. How people actually got their stuff together, got their self together, and doing some real great things, and how they did it, and so on and so forth. And it's just some crazy stuff, man. I be seeing some more and more crazy stuff happening by the day. Every time I look on, I be sitting on the joint, just strolling through my phone, and just be finding so much crazy stuff just popping out of nowhere. That's just like here. I mean, I ain't even going go into the whole thing, but they had a police officer, man. Drew, hey Drew, the last time I was on here, the last time I was on here, and I got off of this joint about 10 minutes after I got off of this joint. Man, you'd have thought I was in Afghanistan somewhere. You'd have thought I lived in Afghanistan somewhere. All you heard was freaking gunshots. About 50 of them joints. About 50 of them joints for almost 2 minutes. like almost 2 minutes straight. It was crazy. And then like a day or two later, they had somebody shot a police officer, a woman police officer. But that was extra crazy. Even one of y'all get a chance, man. Even one of y'all get a chance, man. You look up Baltimore police officer ambushed. Baltimore City police officer ambushed. And and check that out, man. And that's just something crazy. But let me tell you, you know that they actually caught the people. Just like that. Caught the people just like that. Boom. But it's crazy because how that can happen like that when the officer gets shot. You know what I mean? But the average person gets shot. Most of the time you ain't got a clue. You ain't got a clue as to who did it. Case go unsolved. But then you come on the news and say, "Oh, we used a bunch of different stuff to actually apprehend the suspects. We used doorbell cameras. We used the license plate readers. We used the street cameras. You used all these things to find the person allegedly responsible for shooting a police officer. But so it took y'all a couple days to find the persons that allegedly committed this act, but the average person gets shot or whatever, you ain't got a clue. So why you can't use that same technology and find everybody else? You know what I mean? I find it to be a good question. Anybody come up with the answer to the question, be sure to let me know. Be sure you let me know what the answer to that one is. Because I've been saying that for the longest time because I'm aware I'm aware of the type of technologies they got and how good they work. You know what I mean? actually how good they work. You know what I mean? Especially the cameras. I'm very aware of how those cameras work. How good they work, how clear the imaging from those cameras are. Very, very good. But if certain people, you know what I mean, certain people or certain individuals become victims, you use that same technology and you catch the people just like that. Or you catch the alleged people just like that. But average person, no, only thing we got is this grainy video from the street camera. It is no such thing as a grainy video from the street cameras. Because those videos, well, I can't speak for the video, but I do know that the still picture is amazing. Those stills that come from those videos, they're freaking amazing. So if you can snatch a still image from a video, then I would suspect that the whole video is freaking amazing. You know what I mean? That it has the same clarity as that one photo that was pulled from the video. So when I hear him talking all that goofy stuff, I was like, y'all ain't trying to catch them. Y'all ain't trying to catch nobody. Mm, it's amazing. I mean, the stuff they feed us and tell us it's cotton candy. Here, eat this. It's cotton candy. I ain't never seen no brown cotton candy before. I ain't never seen no brown cotton candy before. It ain't even soft. Why it's hard? Why it's hard? And why it stink like that? Shut up. It's cotton candy. Eat it. Shut up. It's cotton candy. Eat it. People crazy, man. But we just good at falling in line and not questioning nothing. So as long as we continue to do that, we can expect the same results. Man, shit, I was getting ready to drop some cough syrup out the window. Somebody was out there. Sound like they got a bad cough. Hmm. God damn, they don't sound like they got a cough. Sound like they got something stuck in their damn throat. I don't think cough syrup gonna help that. I don't think the syrup gonna help that. Not the freaking cigarette. Yeah, forgive me. I be I be caught up sometimes. I don't like noise right out. I'm easily distracted. I like to know what's going on behind me or what I'm hearing. All that good stuff. I don't know what else I missed. I wasn't gonna be on this joint long today. Cause some people be working the hell out of me. I just wanted to get in here and pretty much get my 2 cents in. I'll be catching some good stories. Or you see what's the broad? They get ready to they talking about making the what's the damn lady? What is she the It's not the mayor. I think she the state's attorney. Kim, what is it? Kim something? Kim something? I think she's the state's attorney in Chicago. I think they trying to force her to resign over that over that Jussie Smollett thing or whatever. I think they trying to push her out. Jussie then trying to take down the whole government. I don't even know why they let that man do that. I don't even know why they let him do that. As soon as he started saying all that goofy stuff out of his mouth, man, somebody supposed to have been smarter than that. Somebody was supposed to pull him aside and like, look, man, what you're saying ain't making no sense. Ain't making no sense at all. You sure you want to? You sure you want to? You want us to fill this paperwork out? Because once it's done, it's gonna be done. Ain't nobody say nothing. Everybody wanted some spotlight time. Everybody wanted their 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted their 10 seconds worth of sound bite. The 10-second sound bite. You know what I mean? Ah, that's the dude from Empire. Why would he lie? No, it don't matter how far-fetched his story sounds. He wouldn't lie. I doubt it very seriously if he would lie about something like that. I don't give a damn how hungry I got. I ain't got me going outside to no Subway. I don't think I'm gonna go to no Subway for a sandwich at 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't speak for other places, but Subway don't even be open at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not here. The damn Subway don't even be open. The Metro Subway don't even be open at 2 o'clock in the morning here. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, Subway, the freaking fast food place, definitely ain't open. No 2 o'clock in the morning. But I was wondering what kind of sandwich he was trying to get. Was he going to get a hot sandwich or was he going to get a cold sandwich? Because it was cold in Chicago. So I was like, was he going to go get a cold cut or some kind of sandwich? With, you know what I mean? It was cold as hell. So I don't think he ever said what he was going to go get. But out of all places, you know what I mean? You go to Subway. Maybe he was looking for Jared. Maybe he was looking for Jared. He was looking for Jared or whatever. He's supposed to have met Jared at Subway. My damn cigarette. I'm just knocking over shit. I don't know. I'm gonna see what happened between now and the new year. Other than everybody losing their mind, trying to spend money that more than likely they ain't got to spend. I'm gonna stop smoking for the new year, just like I did last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Oh, you say that's why they probably so, because it probably was all over the internet. The story probably was, you know what I mean, was all over the internet because I think they just sentenced him. They just sentenced him. They just sentenced him Friday, Thursday or Friday. Yeah, yep. I just came across this today, but they said they sentenced him. I think Thursday or Friday of last week. Did you hear about that? That joint with the kids in Australia, man. The thing with the little bouncy house where the kids where the kids died. Where the kids died. Where the bouncy house went 30 feet up in the air, and like 5 or 6 kids or whatever died. They fell out the bouncy house. Yeah, yeah. That's any brakes. That's any brakes on any car. They getting used too much. Yeah, man. That was the same thing I was thinking. I'm like, when I heard the story, I'm like, how in the heck did the thing get up in the air? Whoa, what up, bike? Like, I got some, I got some, I got some people from here that I'm about to get on, start a panel or whatever. I'm gonna be having a panel on my joint. Hopefully soon. I don't know whether it'll probably be like the beginning of the year or whatever. I'm putting something together. Some of the guys from the city or whatever that was out there that was showing enough out there at one point. You know what I mean? Did their little debt to society. I just say debt to society. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to get them on here and let them talk about what they did back then and what they doing now, as far as like in the community and stuff like that, and some of the stuff. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff that they think that can maybe help the city or whatever. Little something, something. That's what I was supposed to originally been doing in the first place. But I'm just like everybody else, pretty much everybody else around these parts. I get easily distracted as well and get to doing other stuff. But I ain't no one. I'm not a one trick pony. So I might do that type of stuff one day and I be doing something else on here the next day. I ain't gonna be sticking to no one subject. I can't do just one thing. But that's one of the things I'm gonna be doing on here. So that way I get to open it up a little bit. If I get a nice response from it or whatever, it'll open it up for me to bring other people on here and talk about different things or whatever. I know Drew say, man, you said the last time you was gonna figure out how to put the get the damn drop, put the link in the description. I put the link in the comment section just in case anybody wanted to cam up. And once I put the joint that I was coming on, I said, well, when I go downstairs, I'm gonna pull this video back up so I can figure out how to put the thing in the comment section just to put it in there. The next thing I know, it was 7:30. I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to start the live. I figured out this. I wasn't even planning on coming on here today, but I just wanted to talk about the dude getting that 110 for that accident. You know what I mean? Because that just blew my mind. That just blew my mind. That's crazy. And you got like I say, when you think about people, how somebody could show enough use a firearm and kill somebody and not get half the time that they gave that man for a vehicular homicide. And that's what pretty much what it was. Regardless, I think they took into fact how messed up the accident was because people actually burnt up because vehicles caught on fire and the way they passed or whatever. You know what I mean? But it ain't like that man jumped out the truck and poured gasoline on nothing and struck a match. You know what I mean? It was results of a freaking accident. It was a whole accident. It was a whole accident. And you gonna mash that man out like that? That's type of stuff make me not. You know what I mean, then you got silly people that actually, who knows? Another state might see that and decide to change their law. You know what I mean? Or we gonna cut that concurrent thing out, where as though you can't run sentences together. You got to do one sentence and then before you start the other sentence, and then man, it made me not want to drive. I'm about already ready to hang my keys up. I don't like driving now, but I don't want to give up my right to drive. Man, you got somebody running in front of your car and you hit them with your car. Oh, what you gonna say? Cause I ain't slam on the brakes quick enough. I'm gonna give you 50 years. You should have been able to step on your brakes quicker than that. Take this 50. I don't know. I just want to see how it all pan out. They better get that man some rhythm, man. And I hope all them truckers, all them truck drivers saying they not gonna go through Colorado. I hope they stand on their word. You know what I mean? I hope all of them stand on their word and refuse to take anything to Colorado. Only thing they gotta do, if they decide to, we not taking nothing at all. We ain't taking no trucks to Colorado at all. 30 days. 30 days. Just 30 days. The governor be forced to commute that man's sentence because they will lose so much money. That state will lose so much money. But then again, yeah. I say 30 days. I was getting ready to say, but then again, they making a lot. The state making that state is making a lot of money off of the marijuana, off of the legalized marijuana. They getting a bag. You know what I mean? That state is getting a bag off of that legalized marijuana. You know what I mean? And I thought about it. But then I say, no, 30 days might do it. Because once you smoking, you know what I mean? Once you smoking, you're gonna definitely want your Skittles and your Doritos and, and your sodas. When you get the munchies, you're gonna definitely want to make your store run. You know what I mean? And if the trucks ain't bringing nothing into the town, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna try to drive to the next state. You know what I mean? Once you done smoke, you know what I mean? People ain't gonna be trying to hear that. Man, I done got high out of my mind. I done got all smoked out and went to the daggone 7-Eleven or the Piggly Wiggly. I don't know what the hell they got out there because I never been there. You know what I mean? The Kroger's. I don't know. I couldn't get a bag of Skittles. You gonna have people out there selling bootleg Skittles, and Snickers. You know what I mean? Yeah, black market Skittles, black market. It's gonna be selling. People will be out there selling candy like it's smack. Sure enough, Snicker bar gonna be $10. $10. $10. Yeah, you watch. You watch. I tell you, give them 30 days. Give them 30 days with no trucks going through there. See, it don't sound like nothing by me just saying it, but you can't imagine how many trucks that actually bring goods into a state every day. You know what I mean? You talking about clothes, food, liquor, anything you can think of, anything that you're gonna go to the store and purchase. Most of it got to be brought into that state via truck. You know what I mean? Via truck. Even if you got stuff that's made in that state, other stuff got to be brought into that state via truck to keep that factory up and running. You know how many businesses within that state would be forced to halt production of whatever they produce or whatever? If no trucks came in there, no trucks came in for 30 days, they got the hashtag. The hashtag is up. What is it? No trucks to Colorado. It's a hashtag. No trucks to Colorado. If they stand on that, they show enough, stand on their square and say, regardless to nothing, we ain't taking nothing to Colorado until the judge, until the governor commute that man's sentence. Man, that judge would be like, under light of these recent developments, I feel as though that we have some rules on our books that in regards to recent case, that once we looked over, we feel as though we have to go back and reevaluate some things. And in the light of this situation, I will be commuting the sentence of Mr. Hold on for a second. And this is exactly what the governor would say, because he's not even going to know the guy's name. He's not even going to know the guy's name right off, just like I didn't, just like I forgot it. He's not even going to freaking know it, because he's not even going to investigate it. Somebody's going to hand him a piece of paper to read off, or he's going to be reading off a teleprompter, and he's going to be like, wait a minute, Mr. Mederos, and no apology, but just under the light of recent developments, we are forced to reevaluate some of our sentence practices. And I think I'll be commuting the sentence of Mr. Mederos, and effective immediately. Instead of the 110 years that he's been sentenced to, we're going to be commuting his sentence to 110 years with 108 years suspended. Look, they're not going to take that original sentence. They're not going to take that original sentence off the books completely. What they're going to do is say, we're going to suspend that sentence. And I don't even know if they even have the joint ways so they can give a suspended sentence, because if he had the ability, if the judge had the ability to give him a suspended sentence, I think he would have probably done it. So they're probably not even allowed to give a suspended sentence. So, but the governor can do it because he can do it. You know what I mean? He's not going to actually just take it away fully. He's just going to finagle. He's going to finagle to get that man his freedom. He's gonna finagle to get that man his freedom, because he's going to get so much pressure. When I say pressure, I mean pressure. And while we talking about pressure, I'm gonna need y'all to put some pressure on that like button. I'm gonna need y'all to put some pressure on that subscribe button. That's if you're not already a family member. If you're a family member, fall back. You know what I mean? But if you're not a family member already, put some pressure on that subscribe button. And then it's a bell. It's a bell right next to that. When you press that subscribe button, it's going to be a bell that appears. Put some pressure on that bell, so every time I jump on this joint, you'll be notified. You feel me? But just like I was saying, he's going to receive so much pressure that he's going to be forced. He's going to be forced to cave. You know what I mean? Because, like I say, you will have factories halting production. You will have grocery stores with bad shelves, stores with no goods. Truck drivers. Once I finish dropping tags and all this on this joint after I jump off or whatever, hopefully you might have a truck driver that get bored at a truck stop or something and play with YouTube and stumble across this live or whatever. And if you get this far in the joint and you a truck driver, stand on your square. Stand on your square. Don't take nothing to Colorado. Nephew, I apologize, nephew, because I know you a snack food dude. Know what I mean? But you might have to suffer for the cause a little bit, nephew. You know what I mean? I don't know why you picked Colorado to move to anyway, because I know it's cold as a hole's heart in Alaska out there right now. You know what I mean? But no goods of any kind go to Colorado until Mr. Madero receives his freedom, man. Accidents are exactly what they are. Accidents. You know what I mean? That man ain't run down them people. He didn't run down them people on purpose. He didn't tamper with his brakes, causing them to fail. That man was trying to make $1. He was at work. You know what I mean? He was at work when this accident happened. You know what I mean? Merely doing his job and ended up having a bad day. He had just as bad day as the people who lost their lives. I'm not going to say he had it just as bad. Well, I'm going to rephrase that. He didn't have a, you know what I mean? His day wasn't as bad as theirs because they lost their lives. But he got to live with that. You know what I mean? That man got to live with that. You know what I mean? It's not something that he intentionally done. You know what I mean? He got to live with that though. You know what I mean? And that ain't something unless you some type of freakish person, unless you some type of freakish person that gets off on that type of thing. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's the case. You know what I mean? That's going to mess with you. That's going to mess with you. Yeah, without a doubt. You know what I mean? Like I said, he going to live with that. He got to live with that. You know what I mean? Think that ain't going to bother that man? Think that ain't going to mess with that man for the rest of his life? That man was 23 years old. And when you, like I say, when you think about it, he was 23 when that happened. I remember when I was 23, I was still a freaking kid, man. When I was 23 years of age, I was still a freaking kid, man. You know what I mean? So he was still basically he was a freaking kid. Merely trying to earn money, do the right thing to help his family and all that stuff. And ended up in an accident that shouldn't have taken place because he worked for somebody that was just conducting dirty business. I'm gonna just say dirty business. If you got a trucking company and you're not maintaining your vehicles like that, you're doing dirty business. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And like I say, they put that man in a court of law. If they was gonna go that route, they should have had the people that he worked for standing right beside him. Well, they wouldn't have been standing right next to each other, but they should have been on the other side of that table as his co-defendants. You know what I mean? But if the people that was solely responsible for that accident wasn't made to be responsible, then he shouldn't be held responsible as well. I mean, let that man get up out of there. Truck drivers, stand on y'all square, man. No goods to Colorado, man. No goods to Colorado, man. No baggies. I don't even think they do baggies in Colorado because it's legal. You know what I mean? They don't need no bag. We don't need no freaking baggies. You know what I mean? Colorado said we don't need no freaking baggies. No goods. Colorado. Do y'all know if anybody from Colorado get to see this? Do you know that means no blunts? No blunts. No papers. No combs. Now, I mean, I don't know what they give y'all. Well, I'm quite sure they give y'all joint. They probably put y'all joints in the little medicine bottles. You gonna go to the dispensary. They gonna have to give you your joint. They gonna have to give you your weed in your hand. You gonna get your weed in your hand. You know what I mean? You wanna have to carry your weed in your hand as cold as it is out there right now. You wanna get home and not even be able to open your hand to smoke your weed. Pressure your governor. Pressure your governor to get that man his freedom. So you don't end up with your hand like this for an hour, waiting for it to thaw out before you can smoke your weed, man. Free that man. Free that man. Get that man his freedom. And by no means am I making light of the situation that is indeed serious. You know what I mean? It's a messed up situation. Condolences go out to all of the victims of this accident. And I emphasize accident. You know what I mean? It was an accident. You know, it's no different what happened that day. What happened that day is no different than a satellite falling from space. If a satellite had fallen from space, you wouldn't have the motherboard from the satellite in court trying to give it 110 years. Cut it out. Yeah, he was charged with vehicular manslaughter, and that's what I'm saying. Like most times when somebody, that's what they charge you with. If this accident happened and somebody end up passing away or whatever, they charge you with vehicular homicide. So, but usually it only carry, like in a lot of states, it don't even carry like 3 years. It carries like 3 years. That's what I usually, it'd be like somewhere between 3 and 5 years. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking Drewski said that they offered him 10 year. They offered him a 10-year plea deal that he didn't accept before he went to trial. So I'm thinking that vehicular homicide probably carried 10 years in Colorado. But the thing is, when you go to trial, when they offer you something and you don't take it, and you go to trial, they feel like, oh, you making us work. You gonna make us work. So then they want to give you everything they can possibly give you. But the whole thing was they don't run sentences concurrent. You know what I mean? If they had it on their books to run sentences concurrent, he would have been doing 10 years. Because I'm more than sure that none of those things that they charged him with carried over 10 years. He just had 27 counts. They found him guilty of 27 different charges. You know what I'm saying? And vehicular homicide was the highest one. So he out of them vehicular homicides, he had 4 of them. 40 years out of that 110 probably came from the 4 vehicular homicides. You know what I mean? Now he should have been doing 10 years off of that. You know what I mean? But the way they got it set up, he would have had to do 10, start the second 10, then start the third 10, and then do the last 10. And that's how this whole thing is going out. Yeah, see, but they the whole law thing here, man, it's tricky, man. I didn't see they when they say vehicular homicide, what it mean? It's just wording. But you are right. Homicide does mean that it's an intentional thing. But see, I don't even know if I've never even heard of them having vehicular manslaughter. You know what I mean? I always heard vehicular homicide, even when it's accident. They say vehicular homicide for some reason. You know, but I don't know. I mean, man, I just seen things where people. I done seen the state makeup statutes. You hear me? I done seen the makeup statutes stuff that where I be like, wait a minute, that's not a charge. I mean, I'm saying that's not a statute. You ever heard of a premeditated man? What a premeditated second-degree murder? You ever heard of a premeditated second-degree murder? It's no such thing. But I've seen somebody charged with it. Right? I'm saying to myself, how the hell can you have a premeditated second-degree murder? Would you just out going to the store and something pop off, and you in the middle of you beating on you, and you trying to defend yourself, and you pull a joint out, and then you think about it. All right, boom. Now, I mean, oh, he thought about it for a second, so he didn't intend on doing it before he saw the person, but when he in the midst of it, he thought about it for a second before he did it, so it makes it a premeditated second degree. Get your ass up out of here. I've seen it done. And you know what the craziest thing about it is? You know what the craziest thing about that was? A jury, a jury actually found the person guilty. A jury even found the person guilty. Now if that ain't batshit crazy, I don't know. You know what I mean? It just goes to show what, even though something is on a book, even though something is in a book, people will be allowed to make up other rules as they go. You know what I mean? People make up stuff as they go. Yeah, man. Judge, that's what I'm That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that confused me. I saw that same thing where the judge was like, he didn't want to sentence him to that time. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a minute. Well, if you don't want to, you know what I mean, sentence him to 110 freaking years, then why didn't you suspend the sentence? You know what I mean? Why didn't you suspend some of it and give him the rest of it and or whatever, whatever? But then I say, well, damn it, they must not be able to suspend any of the sentence either. So they just got, you know what I mean? They still in some primitive time. You know what I mean? They haven't changed any of the laws. They have they haven't changed any other laws on the book since the dinosaurs. You know what I mean? They still got the laws on the book from back when we had dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Yeah. They, you know what I mean? Cause see, cause what happened was back then the dinosaurs was always riding around. Dinosaurs was always riding around, running people over and stuff, right? Just riding on the highway, getting up to like 85 miles an hour and not hitting the brakes at all. You know what I mean? And just letting they tractor trailer smash into stuff. You know what I mean? And whatever happened. So that's what made them put that law on the books, where as though they gotta let your time run wild. And even after dinosaurs went extinct, they never changed the laws on the books. Stop. No, well, what I'm saying is their laws are so primitive, man. You know what I mean? You gotta step into. They gotta stop playing, man. To step into the. You know what I mean? Right, straight Flintstone, straight Flintstone. They gotta step into to the new millennium. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say new millennium because you know what I mean. The dinosaurs are supposed to have been gone for over 2,000 years, so way over 2,000 years. So they still acting like their pen broke. When I guarantee you, when people get to questioning them and ask them what took them so long to change this law, I guarantee you somebody gonna say we couldn't find an ink pen. We couldn't find a pen. Nobody had an ink pen. So you know what I mean? Look, honest. Nobody had an ink pen. The hell out of here. Watch. Mark my words. I'm looking for some truck drivers now. I'm looking for truck drivers. Any truck driver I see, I got words for them. I got actual words for them. I gotta make sure they know about this. I gotta make sure they sign that petition. I gotta make sure they don't take no loads to Colorado. I'm taking up this fight. I'm taking up this fight. You know what I mean? This is nothing goes to Colorado. Nothing. No fast food, no groceries, no toilet paper, no water, no nothing until Maduro's gets his freedom. Colorado gets nothing. That way. That way. Sorry, nephew. Might send you a care package or something. You know what I mean? Oh, no tractor trailers coming in there, so I can't even do that. My bad. It's for the cause. You gotta stand for the cause, bro. You gotta stand for the cause. Say toothpaste is good when you real hungry. I'm just joking. Don't eat the toothpaste, yo. Don't eat the toothpaste. Yeah, sure enough, man. I'm kind of like this thing kind of got me vexed, man. Cause now I'm all day I've been thinking about like, damn. So what it now I'm ready to look and see if other people, anybody else there, you know what I mean, what type of sentences they didn't got, how many vehicular homicides they didn't had in that state, and the type of time that other people didn't got. You know what I mean? Did they go crazy on them? You know what I mean? Did they go crazy on them like they went on this man? Or was it the fact that it was fire? You know what I mean? It was fire involved. You know what I mean? The manner in which these people passed away. You know what I mean? I gotta look all that stuff up. Somebody might Sloan Sizzle might get my video or whatever and be like, you should have looked it up before you even got on there talking about it. Sloan Sizzle. Do it right now. Do it right now. Do it now. I'm unsubbing. I'm unsubbing if you don't do it right now. Oh man, Sloan Sizzle was a piece of work, but didn't come back. She ain't come back for them facts though. She ain't come back for them facts. Hey John, hey, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Sizzle ain't been back. Sizzle ain't never come back. Cause I told Sizzle, I was like, all right, well, whatever I get wrong, I'm gonna come back and admit I was wrong. She said, do it now. Do it right now. She was highly upset. She say she ain't never say was I was thinking it was a she, but then I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm still say she because I would take it was she, and the attitude that was being given, it was a real emotional. So I'm gonna say she. You know what I mean? Didn't say that she was a lawyer. Didn't say she was a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. And I was like, if that's the case, I would never want her to be my lawyer. Well, how she's a lawyer. And then somebody else that was in there was like, well, where did you go to school at? She never answered. She never answered. Yeah. She was hot. She was definitely hot. I definitely had her hot. You know what I mean? I say, yo, I say she's what I say? What I say? She's a struggling law student at night. A struggling law student at a day during the day. During the day, a struggling law student and a rapper that and she's a rapper at night. Struggling law student during the day who moonlights as a rapper at night. Mm-hmm. Sloan Sizzle. Slow Sizzle. She thought she was showing up running something. Sloan Fizzle. Hey man, we gotta fuck I put that there for. We got a crusade. Got a crusade on our hands. Got a crusade on our hands. We gotta free that man. We gotta free that man. So you get any truck drivers. I gotta make sure I tag this joint up when I get off ahead. And any truck drivers, no goods go to Colorado. Colorado gets nothing until Maduro gets his freedom. And the governor got the right to do whatever he want to do, or the power to do whatever he want to do as far as commuting sentences and stuff like that. Put him on some probation. Put him on some probation or whatever. That man had never been in trouble a day in his life. You know what I mean? Ain't like he was a freaking criminal or nothing. You know what I mean? Put him on some probation and or whatever. Set that man free. I think he done been in there. He was locked up like 2 years. He was in there for like 2 years. He was in there like 2 years while the whole waiting to go to trial or whatever. Or even if they do make him sitting there for a minute, give him the time for one of those, whatever the time is for a vehicular homicide in that state. Give him that time for one vehicular homicide, the same way he would have been done. Whatever the vehicular give him the 10 years. The 10 years that they was trying to give him at first, give him the 10 years, man. Give him, if you want to do it that way, give that man that 10 years. Let him do the rest of the time that, you know what I mean, and set that man free. 110 years. I'm more than certain you got murderers in jail in Colorado that ain't got 110 years, man. Actual murderers that didn't stab people up, cut people heads off, and you know what I mean, all type of crazy ghoulish stuff that you can think of. You know what I mean? And they ain't got 110 years, man. But you get this man 110 years because his employer didn't maintain their equipment. But the employer got to skate away. The employer got to skate away. Is this America? Is this America? Is this what we do in America? Yes, this is what we do in America. Have dreams of becoming a truck driver? Would you like to earn a decent salary, provide for your family in ways that you only dreamed, a truck driver is one of the jobs where you could actually do that. But keep in mind, if your employer happens to not maintain their equipment and you happen to lose your brakes and harm someone else, we have 100 years waiting for you. But don't worry about that. Just think about the money you'll earn being a truck driver, bringing goods into our city, our state, allowing us to carry on with our daily occurrences, helping us doing our daily grind, but let you not be able to stop. We got 110 waiting on you. No goods go to Colorado. Colorado gets nothing until Maduro gets some rhythm. I'm getting ready to start a. I gotta put a. I'm ready to change one of the hashtags on this joint. Colorado gets nothing. Set Maduro's free or Colorado gets nothing. How about that? Right. That's what they say. The brakes failed. They say the brakes failed. They say the brakes failed on his truck, and say that the company he was working for, they wasn't strangers. That they wasn't strangers to getting violations. They wasn't strangers to getting violations. That they was constantly getting violations on their trucks. So that kind of like tell you what you working with. So my whole thing is, if you're gonna smack him, you got to smack the employer too. You can't smack him and not smack the person that he was working for. You know what I mean? Because he's not responsible for the maintenance, though. I mean, they pushing the whole thing that he didn't use the ramps or whatever. He didn't use the runaway ramps. But like I say, I don't even think that he was familiar with them. I don't even think that he was familiar with the runaway ramps. Because which Drewski was saying earlier. Drewski was saying earlier that when he lost his brakes, that he was on the phone with his employer, and the employer was trying to coach him and what to do, but by then he had already passed the runaway ramp, and he didn't get to another one before he actually got in the accident. Now, had the traffic not been backed up where it was, he may have gotten to another ramp, you know what I mean, and been able to use it. And that's what I'm saying. Well, Why would he had to call his employer and ask them what to do had he'd already been taught? If he had already been taught this, then he would have already known to use or what to look for. He didn't know to look for a runaway ramp. They probably taught him how to merely drive the truck. Drive the truck. Here's your navigation. This is how you work the navigation. You need anything else? Call us. No, and that's what I'm saying. Just like you say, well, why would people find him guilty and give him 110 years? Like I say, I think the whole thing is the way the accident was terrible. The accident was terrible. It was fire involved. People died. Cars caught on fire. You know what I mean? I think it was the manner in which the people actually passed away. You know what I mean? Which actually made it. You know what I mean? But that don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? The manner in which, and in no way am I making light of the fact that them people passed away or anything. It was a freaking accident. It was an accident. You know what I mean? So the manner in which people passed away don't have anything to do with it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. But then the number of years that they gave him is because of a law that's set up there. It's the way their sentences, you know what I mean, their sentencing practices are that they are not allowed to run sentences concurrent. So it's not like they just said, like the judge just said, oh, they said you're guilty, and he said, well, you're guilty of this, I'm giving you 110 years. He was given separate sentences. He was given a bunch of separate sentences that added up to 110 years. Like the biggest sentence that he received may have been 10 years. You know what I mean? But he got found guilty of 27 counts. So out of all those 27 counts added up, the sentences for all those 27 counts added up totaled 110 years, which is ridiculous. Which is mad ridiculous. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. The judge is not allowed to run sentences concurrent. Like pretty much, well, I don't know how many states actually still practice this type of sentencing. You know what I mean? Whereas though they're not allowed to run sentences concurrent or actually suspend any of the time or whatever. But this is crazy. Yeah, nah, hold up, right? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's the whole thing with them finding him guilty of that. I think it's the manner in which them people perished, man. I think it's merely that. I think it's merely that because they perished in such a gruesome way that you know what I mean. That's the only thing I can. That's the only thing I can come up with. That's the only thing I can come up with. Other than that, I don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't see it. I don't see it. And see, and that's more of a reason. That's more of a reason for no goods to go to Colorado because anybody driving the truck through Colorado can have some type of freakish what happens next. What happens next? A truck driver come driving through Colorado and blow a tire. It's no different than somebody blowing a tire and losing control of the tractor trailer, of the semi, and an accident happening. Anybody that's driving a truck through Colorado is at risk of having the same thing done to them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody got to be at fault. Somebody got to pay. It's plain and simple. Somebody has to pay. But just like they trying to make an example, just like they was trying to make an example, now the people got to make an example. Now it's time for the people to make an example. And I said, once again I said, not making light of those people who lost their lives in this accident. Say it again, accident. But giving that man 110 years, man, for trying to earn a living, take care of his people, it ain't gonna fly. No goods to Colorado. No goods to Colorado until they fix it. And I done went over my 2. I done jumped over my 2. And I'm about to jump off of this thing because this dude got to be up in the morning. Family. I'll be back next time. I'll be back with something else that we need to fix as a unit, or something we need to discuss seriously as a unit. But until then, great minds will continue to think alike. And everybody has greatness in them. But you just never know when somebody gonna come along and pull that greatness up out of you. So to the next time, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and definitely in this point, share. No goods to Colorado. Share. It's your boy C Major. True in the air. I'm going to get up with you, Johnny. Tell my nephews I say what up, man.